Ever found yourself in a situation where you had the power to make a decision, even if it meant someone else might get a slightly worse deal? It's a goldmine for understanding human behavior. Enter game theory, a fascinating field that explores how we make decisions in the face of others doing the same. Today, we'll be focusing on a particularly intriguing game, the Dictator Game. It's a simple game with profound implications about fairness, cooperation, and how we navigate the workplace jungle. You're handed a wad of cash and told to split it with a coworker. You call the shots, they have to accept whatever you decide. Your decision reveals a lot about your social behavior and how you view fairness. So, buckle up for a crash course in the Dictator Game and its surprising relevance to your daily grind. Now, let's break down this Dictator Game. Imagine you're in a room with a colleague you barely know. You've been handed $100 and told to split it however you see fit. Your colleague has no say in the matter. Pure economic theory suggests you, the dictator, would keep the entire $100 for yourself. But studies show that people rarely act this way. Most folks tend to share at least a small portion of the money, often around 20 to 30%. This simple act of sharing reveals a fundamental aspect of human behavior. We care about being perceived as fair even by strangers. This seemingly irrational behavior has puzzled economists for years. It suggests that our decisions aren't solely driven by maximizing our own profits. We are influenced by social norms, a sense of fairness, and even the fear of looking greedy. And trust me, nobody wants that office jerk label, right? So, how does this dictator game translate to the real world, specifically our workplaces? The principles of the game play out in countless ways, subtly influencing our decisions and interactions. Consider this. You're a manager tasked with distributing a bonus among your team. You have the power to decide who gets what. Do you divide it equally, rewarding collective effort, or do you play favorites, rewarding individual performance? Your decision reveals your leadership style and your perception of fairness. Or let's say you're negotiating a deadline with a subordinate. You have the authority to set the date, but pushing too hard could lead to burnout and resentment. Do you act like the stereotypical dictator, demanding an unreasonable time frame, or do you find a compromise that feels fair and manageable for both parties? The dictator game highlights a crucial point. Every decision we make, however small, can be seen as a microcosm of this game. We're constantly navigating power dynamics, weighing our own self interest against the perceived fairness of our actions. Now, you might be thinking, so what? It's just a game, right? But understanding the dictator game can actually give you a leg up in the workplace. A workplace where everyone acts like a ruthless dictator, hoarding resources and taking advantage of others, is unlikely to be a pleasant or productive environment. On the other hand, a workplace where people prioritize fairness, cooperation, and mutual respect is more likely to thrive. When we approach our interactions with colleagues through the lens of the dictator game, we become more aware of the power dynamics at play. This might mean being more willing to share credit with colleagues, advocating for fairer compensation packages, or simply being more mindful of how our actions affect those around us. By fostering a culture of fairness and cooperation, we create a more positive and productive work environment for everyone. The next time you find yourself in a situation where you have the upper hand, whether it's negotiating a deadline, dividing up a project workload, or simply deciding who gets the last donut in the break room, remember the dictator game. Ask yourself, how would I split this $100? Am I being fair? Am I considering the perspectives of others? By being more conscious of these subtle power dynamics, we can make choices that not only benefit ourselves but also contribute to a more positive and productive workplace. So there you have it, the dictator game in a nutshell. It's a simple game with surprisingly profound implications for how we navigate the complexities of the modern workplace. Now, go forth and play the game, fairly of course.